So I thought I would do a question and answer video. I'm actually going to split it into two because I've had a lot of personal questions and a lot of Positano questions. So it is absolutely terrible weather outside today. It's pouring with rain, so I thought I would stay in the house and do the personal questions. When the weather gets better, I will go out, take a walk and answer the Positano questions. The first question on the list is, when did I move to Italy? I actually cover this in the A Bit About Me video, which is the first video on my YouTube channel, but I moved to Italy in 1999. I didn't really mean to stay, but yeah, I'm still here 18 years later. I came here for the summer of 1999. I got a job in an art gallery. That didn't last very long, and I spent the rest of the summer on the beach with friends having fun. I had another couple of jobs along the way and ended up staying because the Millennium night was arriving. It was a huge deal. I didn't want to be in London for it. They were having a big beach party in Positano and I wanted to be there, so I stayed for that, and that was the night I met Carlo. Another question I got asked is probably from somebody who hasn't been following me for long, because they asked, do I ever go to Ravello? If you've been following me for more than a month or so, you'll know that I work in Ravello a lot over the summer. I'm a makeup artist. I do a lot of weddings in Ravello, Sorrento and Amalfi, and yes, I visit Ravello a lot. Somebody asked me, what is my favourite thing about Italy? I hate questions like this. What is my favourite thing about Italy? The weather's better than England. What can I tell you? The food? I don't know. I can't answer that. What else? Do you think you'll ever move from Positano to nearby cities to avoid the stairs? I actually have had quite a few questions asking, will we move somewhere else when we're older? Are we ever thinking about moving back to England? Where else in Italy would we live? So we live here now. We have 465 stairs from the road to our house, which Carlo's father can't actually do anymore. So we are well aware that we're not going to be able to spend the rest of our lives living here. What was that? Is the house falling off? So we don't really have a plan at the moment. We're planning on travelling more around Europe to see if there's anywhere else that we would like to live. We could move to England at some point in the future, but I don't think Carlo's going to enjoy it there, so I don't know if that's a possibility. We might do 6 months here, 6 months there. We've also considered moving to Ischia when we are older, but we haven't got any concrete plans. So my dream would be to buy a boat and go and live on that, but Carlo doesn't like that either, so I'm not sure what's going to happen there. I'm just going to change out of my gym clothes, back in a minute. A lot of people asking me, what do I do when it's raining? What do I do in the winter? I'm just going to go up and change the bed from winter to summer, no, from summer to winter duvet, and I will answer you while I'm doing it. So obviously people who come to Positano come here on vacation and spend a lot of time either sightseeing or on the beach or drinking or eating. People who live here work, so we don't get as much time to relax and enjoy ourselves in the summer as visitors do. I think some people forget that when they come here. The winters here are very quiet. There isn't a huge amount to do. When it's raining, well, what do you do at home when it's raining? I mean, same thing really. We live here, so we get on with our lives. If you need to go shopping, you go and do the shopping, you get wet feet. In the winter, I always come up with a new thing to teach myself. So over the years, I've learned to make soap, I've learned to crochet, I've learned to make stained glass windows, I learned to play the ukulele, all sorts of things like that, anything to keep me busy. Last couple of years, it's been making videos, and that's what I do. I do a lot of hiking. I still go out kayaking if the sea is good. And yeah, I mean, I go to England a lot. Every now and again, we'll have a big trip abroad. But you sort of get on with life, really. Winter duvet. Are we planning a foreign vacation this year? We haven't got any plans for a big vacation, but definitely there'll be a few little trips away this winter. So here's a question that made me laugh. Am I a pasta rebel or do I adhere to the pasta rules? So let me explain. Italians are very, very specific about what type of pasta can be eaten with what type of sauce. For example, here's a really simple example, is that bolognese sauce has to be eaten with spaghetti, not linguine. Linguine is the flat, long pasta. Spaghetti is round. Linguine goes with seafood, so you would never serve it with a meat dish. I have to adhere to the rules pretty much because Carlo would get very upset if I didn't. And we have argued occasionally about what type of pasta to use with what type of sauce. It's stopped raining. I wonder how long that's going to last for. It does look very dark up there. Here's a few quick ones. What's Carlo's job? Carlo runs the cemetery in Positano. I have covered that before. That's why I often happen to be there. If me and Carlo could live anywhere in Italy, where would we live? I don't think Carlo would actually want to move too far from here. Ischia, as I said, is the one place we have discussed moving to at some point. I don't know if that would happen though, because that'd be even more inconvenient than here because it's an island, so it all depends on the sea conditions. So I don't know. Do we still have that stray cat that found its way into our house this summer? Let's have a look. Yes, we do. Hello. What's the matter? So, this cat will not leave. We've called him Ali. He talks constantly. Yes, you do, don't you? We're not letting him in the house at the moment because he hasn't been neutered and he does spray. He also fights a lot with all of the animals. He's a real bully, which is a bit of a problem. We haven't been able to find another home for him, so it looks like he's here to stay, aren't you? I mean, he's lovely. He's really cuddly and soft and just fights a lot with all the other animals and talks constantly, which drives us crazy, doesn't it? So some of the questions have come through for Sky to answer, and she happens to be here, so she's going to answer them for us. So Sky's at school in England, by the way, but you were born here, so you've been at school in England for the last 3 years. What do you prefer, Italy or England?
Well, it really depends, because there's a lot of things I prefer from here and a lot of other things I prefer from England. So, like the views and the food, I obviously prefer it in Italy, and then there's some of my bestest friends are in England or come from other countries, so
it's hard.
It's hard.
Okay. Do you speak English? Well, that's obvious because we can hear you. Do you speak Italian?
Obviously, yes. I speak them both fluently since I've been to school in Italy and England, and I've been speaking to both my parents who speak 2 different languages, so yeah.
What do you speak at home then?
Well, with my mum, I speak English. With my dad, I speak Italian. My dad speaks Italian to my mum. So when we speak all together, we probably have to speak Italian so everyone understands better, because my dad doesn't understand much English.
Okay. And the other question for you was, I heard you hurt your ankle the other day. How is it?
Well, I think it's a bit better. I couldn't walk for a few days. I've been at home not doing much for the past 3-4 days. But hopefully today it's better because I'm going to go out to have dinner with a friend. So hopefully I'll be able to get out of the house without falling.
And when are you going back to England?
Tomorrow, actually. I'm getting my flight early in the morning.
And when are you going back to school?
On Monday, which...
Now, you're not supposed to be eating those, are you? Come on, you know they're not for you. You get yours outside, don't you? Little stretchy cat. When you first came to Positano, how did you find settling in? Did you have any difficulties? So when I first came to Positano, I didn't come here planning to stay. I came here planning to leave at the end of the summer. So it was a very gradual process. It took a good couple of years before I realised that I was staying. So there was none of that planning to live here, moving my stuff. In fact, a lot of my stuff is still in the UK at my dad's house, and he would love it if I could bring it all here, but a lot of it I can't. So yeah, it was a very gradual process. Did I have any difficulties? Apart from the usual Italian bureaucratical problems, not really. I mean, I can remember it being ridiculous. You can't get a work permit without a job, and you can't get a job without a work permit, and there was that to deal with. But you just have to get a little help from people in high places, and it all runs very smoothly. Being from England, I had none of the problems that anybody from the States or Australia would have, because I can live and work anywhere in Europe, so that wasn't a problem, although it may be in the next year or so, depending on Brexit. What are typical meals that I cook at home? I will cook pasta at lunchtime if there's anybody here to eat it, but a lot of the time there's nobody here at lunchtime. In the summer for lunch I will normally do pasta because that's what they want. I personally can't eat pasta every single day, it drives me crazy. Maybe once every 2 weeks or so I'll have it, but I can't eat it every day. I do a lot of salads. Also depends a lot on what we've got growing in the garden, and I will use what I have to hand. What sort of things do I cook? Quite a variety really. I will do sometimes a bit of Mexican, sometimes I'll do a stir fry, sometimes I will do like a chicken and leek casserole. I'll do a steak and ale pie, nice British pub food, or a shepherd's pie every now and again, of course. I can create the perfect burger because you can't go out and get one. Hello cat. I'm gonna put my... Oh, sorry animal. Did I tread on you? I'm sorry. Still got lots of these long hanging gourds. How hard was it for me to bring up Sky with all the steps? So when Sky was little, we didn't have a pram or a buggy. We just carried her everywhere for about 3.5 years until she learnt how to walk properly on her own. But at the time we weren't even living here. We were living in the centre of town, but we still had 160 steps to get to our front door. So it wasn't worth having a buggy and carrying it up 160 steps every time I went out. So we just carried her everywhere. A lot of people do have buggies here. A lot of people don't. Most people use the hippie chick seats. It's like a bum bag, but it's solid, and you sit the baby on it and you hold it like that, and it sort of stops you having to stick your hip out and walk funny. But those were really, really handy. Are you following me in here? You get all wet. Got my little basket with me. I need to get some potatoes. These are the potatoes that we grew this summer. One question that made me laugh is, why are you so effortlessly stylish all the time? And that must be a fake question or a joke question, because I certainly am not. I'm either walking around with a helmet on my head and a bag of dog poo, or I'm in my workout clothes and sopping wet because I've just got out of a kayak. I am definitely not stylish. As you see at the end of my Instagram stories, I do an outfit of the day post every day. And it's normally pretty cheap stuff from high street brands, and yeah, I'm definitely not effortlessly stylish, and I can't even say it. One more question, which came in a while ago actually, was, can we see the bathroom that you were tiling with Carlo this summer? Is it finished yet? Yes, it's finished. It doesn't have a door yet, and this is what it looks like. It is possibly the smallest bathroom in the world. It's really hard to show. These are all hand-painted tiles from Vietri. So that's it for all the questions that came through. I think I've answered them all. I now have the mammoth task. I'm swapping wardrobes. I'm taking everything out of this wardrobe and swapping it with that wardrobe there, because I want this one because it's bigger. So I've just started pulling everything out. I'm dumping stuff on the floor. It's going to be a terrible mess in here in the next 5 minutes. So I hope you enjoyed these questions and answers. There'll be another one coming soon with questions and answers all about Positano. Bye for now.